The following episode of Missing Reel is dedicated to Dr. Charles Frederick Blake. And that's just about the only thing I'm not joking about. Enjoy. It's Missing Reel with Mike Tirigo. I'd almost prefer snakes. But here we go one more time. Okay,
right.
so we're about ready to start.
Yeah.
Welcome back again, everybody. Here we are in Missing Reel with a more recent film today, something that came out the same year that I'm recording, which is a rare thing. And I got a really special guest back here with me one more time, all the way from the other coast of the USA. We have Lisa Blake Mitchell joining us again. Hello again, Lisa.
Hi.
Hey,
How's it going?
it's going good. I'm so happy to have you back again and do a new
I'm
movie.
really happy to be here. Yeah.
Well, thank you. I always remember that you and I both are pretty big Harrison Ford fans. So why not? Let's talk about his latest big screen adventure and probably the last of its
Oh God, don't say that. I know.
Nah, well,
but it's.
No, he
sad.
says he
Sad
says
to
that.
me.
He says that.
No, I know it's true. It makes me so sad.
I know. Well, nobody lasts forever, no matter how much digital de-aging you do to them. But I think he's gone out in fairly decent style if we're looking back on the indies, and we will. But today's movie is Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny, which was so cool to see. This was coming out this year, and yeah, I was very highly anticipating this movie, even though we all kind of had a problem with the last one, and please don't do that again.
Yeah,
but
that's all I have to say about that.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, the last one is slightly referenced in this, but just a little bit, just to have some sort of continuity. That was a Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Okay, not too exciting. And this one is Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. So first thing I'm thinking is, well, what's the precious artifact he's going after this time? A rotary phone? What is it? What are we dialing? And is it a transistor radio, a vintage television? Like, we'll be back after a word from our sponsor. Don't touch that dial. So I don't know. What does it do? It's going to have twists, I'm sure. This is definitely going to have. Yeah. All right. Well, how did you feel about just finding out the movie was coming along? And
I didn't even know about it until I saw the ads.
Okay. Good marketing.
Completely untouched by it. But no, I was like, is this? What is this? Is this the series? What's happening?
You can't really see his whole face. It's kind of covered by the brim of the hat. So, like, Is it him? Is it Shia LaBeouf? Like, oh my God. Did you say, oh boy, or oh no, when you saw that poster?
I was like, what is that? Exactly. Yeah. What is it? What is this? Is this real? Is this any good? Is it
just worrying that it's a reboot, which, I would just give it the boot. We don't want it. But it's really him, and playing his age mostly through the movie.
Right.
So you just watched it recently? I
did. I mean, I saw it when it came out, and then refresher,
Yeah, me too. I needed some time to digest it the first time and really think about it, because just being there the first time, it was, it's a new Indiana Jones, but it's a new Indiana Jones. It isn't going to be like the old ones. It's not going to have that same magic, and it's not Spielberg this time.
No. That's true. It was all about the experience, just going in there, seeing, how much of a ride you can take on it, just allowing myself to experience the whole thing in all its glory.
Yeah. So did it seem different second time watching it? Did you have a better appreciation of it or found more flaws there?
I mean, actually, no. It was the same for me. And I will just start out saying that I loved it. I was one of the people who loved the film. I love the film.
I kind of loved it. I thought it was good. It was good enough. And I was expecting a train wreck, but again, that was, well, we had one in The Fugitive. But a good train wreck. Yeah, the best kind of train wreck. But this one, all right, yeah. I mean, we'll run through the film. I mean, it's a long movie. I'll try to keep it as a short podcast, but let's just go through what happens, who's in it, and who we haven't seen before. I mean, we love Harrison Ford. We know him already. He plays his character with just about as much humor and charm as he always has. It's just more age appropriate expressions of it. Mm-hmm. And it works. I mean, I think it works really well. I know that everyone's talking about the opening sequence where you see the sack pulled off the prisoner's head back in Berlin during the
Yeah.
war, and it's a de-aged Harrison Ford looking pretty 1980s Raiders of the Lost Arky kind of Harrison
Yeah.
Ford. Wasn't such bad work, though. Honestly, I mean, I know it was all faking, but it didn't look too bad. I
No,
think
it looked, I thought it looked quite good. I thought it looked great. And if I mean, I was watching it the other night, just trying to figure out what about it doesn't look exactly real. And I think it's the eyes. It's just
hmm,
possibly too much light on the eyes. And that's part of lighting. That's part of
yeah.
what they did with that. But that's really, I mean, they did a really good job.
Yeah, no, I really thought it was pretty photorealistic. And no matter how big your screen is, I mean, I didn't see too much giving it away. I mean, at least, yeah, those sequences with him, just his face, and they have so much footage of him on film from all the old movies. I'm sure they were using that as a blueprint archive, and of course, probably mo-capping him a little bit now, but they made him look pretty good. I was believing. I mean, it's either that or yeah, throw in another actor to play him in the younger days. But I don't think Alden
No,
Ehrenreich is in such high demand anymore
no,
after
you
his.
just can't, you can't do that because we've already seen him at that age.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, he doesn't look like that. And neither does that other actor who played young him in Solo. Just, I wasn't buying it. He just wasn't
Mm.
40 enough for me. But yeah, right, the de-aging thing, it's good.
I
It
will say
was good.
the one thing, I'm sorry, I would say the one
Yeah.
thing that I did notice while I watched it originally was his voice. And you could hear the gravel in his voice.
So they
And
didn't, maybe they pitch shifted it up a little bit, like, or have him suck a little helium first.
I don't even think they, I don't know. They probably did alter it. I didn't think they did. It sounded older to
Yeah,
me.
he's got that. The voice is gritty now. I mean, you could
Yeah.
probably fake if you have that much command of your voice. You could probably youthen your voice a little bit. But for him, I don't know. It might be difficult. Or they could just string together all kinds of snippets of his old dialogue and just make him sound like he did when he was in his 30s. But
Yeah,
it's all
that
right.
would be really hard to
It,
do.
it's a small quibble and a waste of everybody's time and effort. Just let him
Yeah.
sound like he does. We know it's him. We don't care. I'd
Mhm.
rather have him sounding
Mhm.
like he does now than some 20-year-old trying to pretend he's Harrison Ford, in 20s.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so here he is with the Nazis again, because it's back then. That's like where he had all of his best times, fighting the Nazis and dealing with all the crap they're trying to steal and all their horrible things they did. But this time they're like in some warehouse and they have this lance of Longinus. I didn't really read the Bible, but this is like the knife that drew Christ's blood, apparently. But Hitler wants it, it's his prize. It seems more like a sex toy to me, but whatever.
Yee.
Just I don't really know. Not to blaspheme, but yeah. I don't know. Anyway, whatever Hitler wants to do with it, it can't be anything good. Or he thinks it's going to give him eternal life or whatever, like the Grail. Should have given him a sip out of that thing, one of those fake Grails. Would have taken care of Der Fuhrer pretty easily. Wrong place, wrong time. But this action, right? This first action sequence is bombardment. They're trying to hang Indy. And the hanging sequence is a little bit like, wow, a little over the top with the photography and the swinging around. And I guess you couldn't really do it practically. There was probably a whole lot of blue screen, green screen, stunts, and then not just de-aging, but pretty soon you're going to have like digital characters running on top of the train. And that part looked a wee bit phony to me.
It was
Even though,
okay.
yeah, it was fun.
Quick.
I mean,
It goes by quickly. Yeah.
and I mean, you could get real guys running on top of trains. I know they did that in the older movies, but and it was really far away too. It was like a long shot, tracking, whatever. But that one little part's like, okay, that's a cartoon, or that's really not his stuntman. And he has a new stuntman now too. I think that the guy who doubled him in all the old movies, I think Jack Dearlove. I remember his name because it's like somebody's got to get the credit for that.
Yeah.
But he's not the stuntman anymore.
I would imagine not.
I read the credits too. I try to see like, oh, I remember they worked on Last Crusade. And, it's like, this can't be. Now, again, Spielberg didn't write or direct, but James Mangold did
Hmm.
a pretty good job. And I like much of his stuff. His Logan and Wolverine movies are really great. And I don't know if you saw Walk the Line
Hmm.
or, yeah.
Yep.
There's a bunch of stuff. Yeah, good director. And he's very passionate about the stuff. He really seems to enjoy it. And Spielberg liked the movie when he saw it. He
Yeah.
gave it his stamp of approval.
Wow. I would be nervous if I was him.
I mean, yeah, but up until the point when he did Crystal Skull, I would also be really intimidated. But then at this point, I'd be like, you know what? Let me try. Maybe
Yeah.
I could beat your latest effort. And I think he did. Yeah, I mean, overall, this is a better, more enjoyable movie than Crystal Skull. But again, I have a few little squabbles about it. But
But
so,
was it the way it was made or was it the script? the story?
It's a little bit of both. I mean, the way it's made, yeah, you watch those older ones, the first three, let's just say, and it's only because they didn't have the technology to do these really ridiculous visual effects that you can't achieve practically, or you'd probably risk too many stunt people's lives doing. But it just loses so much of its, reality, and it's not tangible. Like you could feel like everything that you see happening in those old movies, like it looks like it's really there.
Yeah.
And we're just so used to it now with the CGI that things just look like they're trying so hard to make this spectacular, but they really don't need to. Just design it and stage it properly. It's going to be great. We're there. We're not that hard to impress. I think the harder they try to impress the audience with these Indiana Jones movies, the more we're going to bitch about it because that looks cheesy, or I don't know, don't do that. But all right.
Yeah. I mean, here's what I do now remember walking away from the movie thinking, yeah, I loved it. It was a great ride, but it was too many bells and whistles that they were trying to trying to impress us. And it's so unnecessary. Unnecessary. I didn't need a double car chase, them chasing one person and then somebody else chasing them because of, trying to chase her. In those sequences, I felt like I really missed his expressions. Those expressions he would show at getting away with something, or wow, that just happened. Ooh, wow.
Well, you're right. Like he starts smiling, like I made it, and all of a sudden, whoops, like I'm going to die now.
Exactly.
That's something else. And those nice close-ups and cuts that they did. Yeah, now it's more about like just showing how much spectacle and how many things you can animate on the screen at one time. I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't ever really surprised that. He got away with something.
I guess he's too tired to show all these expressions now. He was like a very reluctant hero in this. He's still in the university teaching and doing his things. So there's not that many young girls batting their eyelids at him anymore. But, he's still a hunk of a geriatric dude there. Well, the first sequence is actually pretty good. The train's pretty good action. He's got Toby Jones there as his buddy, Basil Shaw. Toby's a good actor. I like him in a lot of stuff, too. Mads Mikkelsen is great, too. Another excellent villain, Danish actor. He's been in all the great franchises now. I think he's in Bond, Star Wars.
Wow.
Fantastic Beasts, Doctor Strange. Yeah, he's done it all, and he seems like a pretty cool dude when I've read interviews with him. So, usually just plays a baddie, though. He could be good, but I guess he's better off as a villain. And once you're a Bond villain, I guess it's hard to be a hero after that.
I don't know. I think you can cross over. Now, once you're a hero like Harrison Ford, if we go there, I saw him in one film where he was a bad guy, and I was like, there's no way. No, absolutely. I'm not interested in seeing him be a bad guy.
I guess it was just a big surprise to the audience. And I know, is it What Lies Beneath? Because I know you have a sore spot for that movie.
Yeah.
But I loved it. It's like, it's not what I wanted to happen, but it's like, wow, that's interesting,
Right.
He played a jerk in a few movies, but maybe not a villain. Like a not so sympathetic character. But yeah, he's always the best when he's doing this. Even if he's getting older and like you could tell he's just doing it a little bit more grudgingly, but it's still, there's nothing else like it, when he's in one of these roles, Han Solo and Indy and other shit that, we love him for since the 80s.
Yeah, I don't feel like he's doing it begrudgingly.
Nah, I mean, once the script is good enough, I think it's just all a matter of he'll do it when the script is good enough. But I thought that's what he said about Crystal Skull.
Possibly, yeah, maybe because he recognized the script wasn't completely all there.
And it was with Spielberg, too, so it's hard to forgive, But, I mean, you have to forgive Spielberg because of everything he's done before. He could do a couple of stumbles, as long as it's just Indiana Jones. I mean, if he made, like, a really big mess of, like, Schindler's List, like, he'd never be able to show his face again anywhere in the world. But he, he's untouchable for making a movie like that. Just come on. Maybe he's got to loosen up sometimes and do a stupid Indiana Jones movie with swinging through the trees with the monkeys. I don't know.
They're not all going to be perfect.
No.
They're just not.
He's left his mark already in film history. So whatever. It's okay. What else happens in this movie? On this train is his stuff, his jacket, his whip, everything like that. There's this Archimedes dial. It's called the Antikythera, if I say that right. I don't know. I haven't taken my archaeology courses for a while, but it's the Antikythera. I don't know. Sounds like something you eat as an appetizer at a Mediterranean restaurant, but it's this dial. It's this piece of a dial. It's split into two pieces and it was built really long time ago by Archimedes. And it does something, but the Nazis are after that too. I think Indy and Basil get their hands on it and they jump off the train right before the British liberation. And now we're in 1969. We jump to that and he's in an apartment somewhere in a very noisy neighborhood. Some hippies nearby are blasting Beatles and Bowie and it was the moon landing and the astronauts are stealing all of his thunder now. Like he's giving a lecture and like they'd rather watch the astronauts on TV. They're like the heroes of the day. And his only really smart and attentive student is Helena Shaw, who's his old buddy Basil's daughter. Phoebe Waller-Bridge. I don't know how you feel about her being in the movie, her career and Fleabag and things like that.
So we started watching Fleabag, and I couldn't continue. I couldn't continue it.
Difficult to take in large portions? Well, yeah, I've seen a few minutes of it.
Yeah, I mean, I saw the potential. I saw what they were doing, and for me, I don't know. I just can't watch so much of a character just throwing their life away constantly.
Oh, okay, yeah. Just makes a lot of.
She's not throwing her life away, but you know what I mean. Just
like a lot of bad choices that are just
decisions over and over and over and over again, and
for the sake of entertaining us, I guess all it is, right?
Maybe, yeah. I mean, or some people feel like that, and
I think it's a British thing when the humor is all about like the same thing like with Ricky Gervais or Stephen Merchant, all those shows. They're just like constantly making fools of themselves and doing stupid things, but it's really just for us to get a big laugh out of.
Right.
But they're not too relatable, I guess. And certainly I can't relate to anybody or anything in Killing Eve, which is her other show that she's like the writer or producer or showrunner
of. I haven't seen that. So.
That show is just a little bit too bonkers for me. I really do not know what the hell is going on with those women and stalking, killing, dating. I don't know what they're doing to each other, but it's crazy. It's weird. But she's interesting.
No
Phoebe,
comment.
yeah, and Phoebe is interesting. She's a little bit too pecky, a little bit too British, maybe just to annoy Harrison Ford a little bit. But it's interesting chemistry. I
was gonna say that despite my feelings of that show, I went in there thinking, okay, but she's an enjoyable despite my feelings of the show and, where they go with that, I don't mind her as an actress. And when I saw her in this, I thought she's fantastic.
Yeah, she brings some energy to the proceedings.
Yeah, I loved her. I thought she was great. I thought she was fine. Just right.
Yeah, she is good. Well, what's her? Oh, it's Helena, right? Helena Shaw. There was talk about doing spin-off movies of her, but I don't see that happening. I don't know. I don't think anybody wants to go follow the spin-off and watch what she does without Indiana Jones at her side,
I did not hear about that.
Might as well have like a Mutt Williams spin-off, which that also could happen. But, later on in this movie, that's a Shia LaBeouf. But, yeah, that's like the other character who we thought he was going to inherit the hat and become the new Indy. But that doesn't happen. And it won't. Unless they...
was a little more likable than the other.
Yeah. No, it's different. It's almost like having Kate Capshaw or, Karen Allen around, maybe somewhere in between the two of them, because Capshaw was mostly just screaming her head off for the whole movie, and Karen Allen was a little bit more sharp and resourceful. Mm-hmm. But this one's just, lots of Brit wit and a lot of snippy little dialogue, and she's good though. She was decent, but she was not trustworthy. She was causing him a lot of problems for the whole movie.
Absolutely. Yeah, I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure where she was waffling. Why she was waffling, really.
It's the way she was written.
Yeah.
This movie could have been way shorter if they didn't just keep, messing around with all these stupid double crosses or not communicating with each other and just work together if you really want to do something. But she had her own agenda.
That's true.
And then there's all these agents following them around. The whole story, I guess, I don't want to convolute it too much, but Mads Mikkelsen is really, he's a Nazi. We know that from the beginning of the movie. But later on, he's posing as Dr. Schmidt. And he is actually based on Werner von Braun, former Nazi scientist who also helped the U.S. with the rocket design and landing on the moon, apparently. This is something I was reading because I, don't truly know it, but I read about it. I think it's true. It's based on, fact and actual people. So it's good. I like when they actually throw real history and real things into the Indiana Jones, to make it more believable.
I always got the idea or the feeling that he wasn't a true Nazi.
Well, when it wasn't in vogue anymore, I guess he stopped. But,
but
Harrison...
even back then, I feel like he was just the hire.
Maybe. Well, yeah, he didn't seem like he was just out there just to hurt everybody and be cruel. He wanted to get this device also. I guess he wants to get his hands on all the swag, all this historical, ancient, magical clockwork stuff that they search for. Even if they don't understand. Was he a scholar too? Is he kind of like this?
So. That's what it was. I think he's a scholar.
A competing archaeologist. Yeah.
I don't know about archaeologists. I don't know. He was very well read, very knowledgeable about all this stuff. And he was hired by the Nazis because he wasn't doing a German. He wasn't German, right?
I think he was in the movie. He was German. Yeah, I think so. Well, first he's Schmidt, then he's I guess Voller or whatever. They all sound kind of German to me. Okay. Mikkelsen doesn't, but He was playing a German. Yeah,
Okay.
there was a German Nazi connection in this movie, and of course he was bad by the end of the movie. He's wearing the Nazi uniform, so yeah, he was.
Because they were going back to the 40s
He
to
thought so anyway. Yeah,
fit in. Yeah, right.
yeah, yeah. So it's authentic. He probably had it. He probably saved it from the actual.
I'm sure he didn't get rid of it.
Yeah.
he probably held on to a bunch of them for his guys. But
It might even be, maybe it's from Raiders of the Lost Ark, wardrobe.
that would
Who
have made
knows?
a lot of sense.
Could have been. They kept some of those just in case they use the Nazis again in an Indy movie. Well, anyways, there's this library when Phoebe there is trying to get Indy to go search for the other half of the dial because her father was looking for it and he's gone now. And, I guess Indy still feels some loyalty to her or, all right, one more adventure. Why not? And go look for this thing. And then all these agents come in and one of them is not really, they're supposed to be FBI, I think, right? The FBI or CIA.
Yeah, that was pretty confusing.
Yeah, it's a little confusing, but one of them is this rogue dude who's really not with the CIA. I guess he's also a hired mercenary. Boyd Holbrook plays him, and whatever his name is. But he's also
the big guy or the blonde guy?
No, he was the blonde dude, like the sort of Val Kilmer-y looking dude. I don't know.
Yeah.
Who was in Logan and gave Hugh Jackman a really hard time in that movie, and Sandman TV series he was just in that. He's pretty good.
I wondered where he came from. Okay.
He's troublesome, but yeah, he's a lot of these people are coming in and they're shooting people in the office where Indy was getting a little retirement gift, which wasn't very good. He didn't even want it.
Yeah.
It probably had no archaeological value, but all these people start getting murdered in there, and he has this big domino shelf stunt to try to escape the place. He does a pretty good job getting out of there, but then he's chasing Phoebe Waller across the rooftops, and she's jumping across the rooftops, and he hasn't been doing that since Blade Runner. He learned his lesson. You may not have Rutger Hauer on the other side to lift your ass back up. So,
oh gosh, yeah.
I'll take the fire escape. So she's running away and being a real pest, and then there's a huge parade in the street. This parade sequence was very, very good. The set design and the confetti and everything like that. And he gets on a horse, because you got to have a horse in the subway. Yeah, just something that hasn't been done before. Let's do that. Arnold rode a horse in True Lies through a hotel, but no, we're going to go down to the subway now. But he doesn't actually get on a train with it. That would have been a little too much.
No.
I saw that in the trailer. I was like, oh gosh, this is the latest stunt they came up with, but I think it's still pretty good.
Yeah, it was well done.
Good action sequence there. Well, from there, it's I think it's off to Morocco now. We have to do a little globe trotting, and they have that red line going across the map gimmick that we love from the old movies. I think they did that in the last one. I don't remember, but you got to have that.
Yeah, that's signature.
Of course, there's John Williams music too, although I don't really recognize too many new themes here, but I'm sure when I pay more attention just to the soundtrack, I'll go, yeah, that's pretty good too, because his music is unbelievably perfect for almost every movie he scores, and I think this might be like his last film score. I'm not sure if he's retiring, but
until Spielberg gives him,
well, yeah, do another one. Do me one more. He's done pretty much almost every Spielberg film, maybe he missed one or two, I don't know, but he did almost all of them, and every soundtrack is just gold, it really is.
Yeah.
So Schmidt gets some medal from the president, but he doesn't bother to go and accept it. He'd rather go to Morocco because he's trying to find this dial. The university murders, and then now Indy is a suspect. There's some mention that he lost his son, Shia LaBeouf, because either nobody wanted him back in this movie and they just wanted to write him out of it, or they just said, let's just put some tragedy into Indy's life then and maybe have him split up from Marion and have them get back together at the very, very end. Yeah.
This is how he became that grumpy old man sitting alone in the apartment shouting at other, younger, noisy kids.
Your noisy kids with your hippie music. Oh, well, yeah, it's a little bit of revelation about what's going on and a little bit of exposition about why is Mutt missing. It's not that we were disappointed. Yeah, we could do without him. If we're going to have another sidekick, we get Phoebe there, we get the kid later on. Not quite short round, but he's okay. He was a interesting little addition there to the cast. But they got to surround Indy with all these other not necessarily capable characters, but everyone you hear did their part to kind of pull it all together, and it's a little stretch of the imagination, some of the stuff that happens later on, but I guess, it's an adventure movie, it's action, just watch it.
It's always been a stretch of the imagination.
No, but this time it's stretching a little bit thinner for me.
What specifically?
When we get to the very end there, when the kid gets in the plane and just flies it, not just flies it, but he also flies it through the time vortex, okay, sure.
He had help, come on.
A little bit, yeah. Okay, sorry, I was like, whatever.
He had help from the pilot.
Yeah, the pilot that was sleeping half the time during the takeoff, but okay. And then
during the takeoff, but
and he was learning how to fly a plane with paper plates and forks and knives and
yeah, that I didn't understand.
That was just a mock-up. It's a science project for the 6th grade. This is what a throttle and a altimeter would look like if you made it out of Dixie cups and paper plates. Okay, but anyway, that's jumping ahead a bit. Anyway, that's one of my small gripes with the movie, but whatever. It's Like, you have to get there somehow, right? You have to bring Indy back somehow. Oh, we get to see John Rhys Davies there. Sala comes back.
Goodness, I know. When I look at him, I was like, when were when were those Lord of the Rings movies made? They weren't that long ago, were they? But
not really.
20 years ago. They were 20 years ago.
Yeah, even the Hobbit ones, right? Well, it's at least 10, 15 years, right? Yeah. Well, he looks a little older and like smaller. I mean, he's shrunken a bit. I don't know if he's all right, or he just got thin, or I don't know if he's well, but
he got thinner. I think he got thinner, and yeah, he's not as robust. And he's older.
Yeah,
and
but he's not too old. He's a cab driver. I don't know if that's stereotypical or lazy writing, but he's a cab driver. And he picks up Indy. He's like, "I'm sorry I'm late, Indy. There was a patrol of orcs along the way, but I slayed 127 of them."
Yeah, Legolas.
yeah, Legolas. I was just watching Troy not long ago, and of course, you got Orlando Bloom is practicing his bow and arrow skills even in there.
Don't diss Orlando Bloom, okay?
I'm not, but he he could never take Achilles in a proper fight. So he has to
all right, I agree.
Go for the heel. Yeah, cheater. Okay, but anyways, back to Indiana Jones. But yeah, it's nice to see Sala again. And even though Indy is like a suspect in multiple murders, he's like outside an airport where he should be a flight risk, right? But then Sala is like, "Give him hell, Indiana Jones!" Like, shh. Quiet. Use an alias.
I completely forgot he was a suspect.
Yeah, he's a suspect. And the first thing he does is go to an airport. Like, are you sure you're...
Well, they didn't have internet then, right?
They're not looking? Oh, maybe not. Yeah, they didn't put out an APB.
No.
Maybe they put some flyers up on the lamppost. Yeah, I guess that's true. Now I think about flight risk. You can't go anywhere. You're just going to get recognized.
Yeah.
Somebody's freaking Siri will know that you're there or something.
Right.
Or Minority Report, walking around and like, wouldn't you like a Guinness now, Tom Cruise? Yeah, this is all in the past. Like, I forgot. See, this movie is the first time he actually has time travel. But, he's such a history buff. Like, wherever he goes, he'll kind of know which way is up, which is great.
Yeah, I mean, that is kind of the ultimate adventure for him is time travel. Somebody who loves... This was appropriate for the last Indiana.
It was, yeah, because all those things that belong in a museum, like, he could actually go see where they first started out.
Yeah.
And when they were in better condition, like, you could take it back and put a little bubble wrap around it and check this one out. You could actually bring the same thing back. I'm thinking, like, how the time travel paradox goes? Like, let's say you have something in a museum, right? But then you go back in time and you find it there and you preserve it and you bring it back to the present in the museum where you have the previous one. Like, are you going to be able to have two of them? Can you have both? And one will be, like, in crap condition and one of them is pristine, like brand spanking new?
Maybe at some point one will disappear.
That would be cool, yeah, but I don't know. I just think, it's more geeky quantum physics stuff that doesn't come into play. But I think that's interesting.
You bring the quote unquote new one in, the one that's preserved.
Yeah, right.
Bring that one in, and in 1965, when the other one was discovered, the new one just disappears.
Yeah, well, it is cool. I think, like, after a while, when I think back on this, traveling back in time is pretty cool for Indiana Jones. And when we get there, we'll talk about, like, what was the right choice for him. Now he's off to Tangiers, this hotel auction. He finds Helena there trying to auction off all these antiquities that have been stolen. And they have this big confrontation where he takes his whip out and everyone takes their guns out. That old gag comes along. Chaos. And this little kid there starts tagging along with him for the rest of the movie. But I don't know his cinematic history because he's really young. But maybe one day, like, he'll be another favorite actor of mine. But right now, he's just a kid. Plays Teddy. Now you go on a tuk-tuk chase. Yeah, just because we've tried every other vehicle. And we're in Tangiers. These things could take a beating, right? They could just go down staircases
Absolutely.
at 20 miles an hour. And yeah, it's great. That scene was also extremely long.
What are you talking about, the chase scene or the one in the...
Yeah, the chase scene. But then they split up and she had like some gang leader ex-boyfriend there who's chasing after her. And
yeah, that's the part that I was like, just cut that guy out. I'm sorry,
it's a little tedious.
Cut that whole storyline out. It was completely unnecessary.
Yeah, we're just trying to develop Helena, and she has like all these connections across the globe with like some of these unsavory characters. I don't know, but not that necessary. But I mean, it's action. You got to have Indiana Jones action sequences, and he still can't get the dial back. Now Mads has it. We learned his name is really Jürgen Voller because it sounds so much cooler than Schmidt. And
so his actual name is Jürgen?
I think so, yeah, from what I understand from reading the credits or writing my notes down, yeah.
Okay, so he's not German.
Maybe he's Austrian. I think Jürgen
He's not German, yeah. I think I didn't think he was German. I didn't get the idea. Anyway,
Now, don't quote me on this. I didn't write the script. I might be wrong, but some of those FBI, CIA people are with them in the plane, and then like it just gets too intense, and somebody shoots one of them. This foxy brown chick with her leather jacket and afro. She's out of the picture. But like, why are these people bothering Indiana Jones? Like, leave him alone. Like, this is not about the murder suspect thing. It's just like they're just following him around because why? Yeah. Is he going after something of interest to them? Like, do they want the dial thing too? They don't even know what the hell it is. I don't know. I don't understand why they were so involved in this. I guess I have to watch it another 2.5 hours and I'll understand better.
Well, you can leave the first half out and then just watch about, half an hour, first quarter of it. Maybe
I'll just get the Cliff's Notes or something. Yeah, maybe that takes too long also. The script's probably even longer than the movie. So now there's another MacGuffin or whatever you want to call it that they have to find they're looking for the other half of the dial. So now there's this graphagus thing that leads you to the other half, and it's in the Aegean Sea in Greece. So here we find Antonio Banderas running a boat, does a lot of deep diving with hoses. Mm-hmm. And it's cool. It's nice to see him in the movie for just a little bit. And
aged him out too.
Yeah, did they?
Yeah, I think they did, because I was watching his interview. And I was like, yeah, he doesn't look as scruffy as he did in the movie.
Oh, so they make him look scruffier.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, well, because he's usually pretty dapper and energetic. It's like I can't picture old Antonio Banderas. Like if they do like one of those Zorro movies where he's like 70 or something like that. Like,
oh, there you go.
Yeah, but like, Anthony Hopkins was Zorro in the first Zorro. And like, you can't picture Sir Anthony Hopkins like doing that, but he did.
Right.
That was also excellent too.
So I can certainly picture Antonio Banderas doing that.
At a certain time in life. Not yet. I'm still too young. Let me live. All right. So he was probably really happy to meet Harrison Ford. Yeah, he was freaking out when he sees Indy all decked out in his fedora and the whip. Like, who wouldn't, It's like, come on.
Are we going to talk about the interview? Because Phoebe was talking about how she was running behind, like they were being chased or they were running through something. And she's supposed to be scared and they had to keep cutting and saying.
She keeps smiling. Like,
yeah, you need to wipe that
I believe it. Like, I can't believe I'm chasing Indiana Jones. It's almost the same thing. Like, how many times did they have to cut or get rid of the on-set sound when they were doing Star Wars movies? Because every actor with a stick in their hand would be going vroom, vroom for the lightsaber. Like, you're not supposed to make the sound. We're going to add it in post. Like, sorry, you can't help it. You just have to do that. Same thing. I don't know. But yeah, I would be like giddy, even if like, you're supposed to be dying.
He's a schoolboy.
Yeah, giddy as a schoolboy. Exactly. Hey, there's a little Allison Doody thrown out. Nobody remembers Allison Doody. Poor Allison Doody. She was a Bond girl too, sort of. View to a Kill. Yeah, and she talks in her sleep. Remember that?
Yes.
I miss that so much. There is absolutely nothing better than the Sean Connery, Harrison Ford interplay of Last Crusade.
So that's your favorite? Is that your favorite one?
I mean, I love the first three for different reasons, but there is absolutely no better chemistry in any of the films than that.
Yeah.
Him and Connery are just incredibly funny together.
Absolutely.
And believable, yeah. It's like the best pairing ever. And then he was already like supposedly dead by the time they did. I don't know if in Crystal Skull, if Sean Connery was already retired, he was still alive, but they had already like offed his character, Dad, Marcus, like everyone's gone. Now Mutt is dead. Like everybody in Indiana Jones's life basically passes away, which is sad. Mm-hmm. But luckily, there's a few left, that appear in this movie. But, it's also interesting that we have some mentions, like some references in the dialogue to stuff that he endured in Temple of Doom. But yet there's like no Willie Scott, there's no Short Round, and they're not put into this movie. It would have been interesting to have like the whole roll call of everybody come back again. But I guess it would be like ridiculous. Like it would just be fan service, I guess, right?
It would be, yeah. And what they did was a call back to almost all the movies. So, in whatever way, whether it was the guns versus swords or whip, that kind of thing.
You got to use the gimmicks that work, but come up with some new stuff at the same time. And I guess they did a decent balance of those. So I don't know when they start talking about time travel, when they're talking about what the dial does, like it opens pathways in time, and they posit to Indy, what would you do if you could time travel? And he goes like, I'd stop my son from enlisting or whatever. Wouldn't do this movie. There's like the Marion theme. We know that Marion and him like get divorced, but you don't see her except in a picture, I think, for most of the movie. Mm-hmm. So they go for this deep dive with hoses. They don't use oxygen tanks. They just have hoses attached, and they go down this really deep chasm underwater to a shipwreck where there's supposed to be that artifact or whatever, the graphagus thing that helps you find the other half of the dial or whatever, another hour or two into the movie. And now a bunch of eels come busting out. Eels are basically just wet snakes. So, Indy doesn't like that. There's a lot of CGI eels swimming around. Like, oh, it's okay. All right, we get it. Yeah. And they look really vicious. But I don't think they really are. Well, they're not electric eels either. They're just eels.
They're spooked.
I guess you scared them. But of course, a boat approaches, somebody's already right behind and cuts a couple of lines and start offing the deck hands or whatever. And yeah, it's Mickelson and his buddies and Wade Holbrook there, and they want to take everything. Every time, Indy finds something, somebody else has to snatch it from him. The bad guys are always like one step behind, and they don't really do any of the work.
They don't do any of the work.
Yeah, they just mug him. Once he gets it, they just mug him. Or they threaten somebody he cares about, and they take the stuff. They're not as resourceful. They shoot Banderas too, which is even more annoying. He's like, one good character in this movie. You have to just whack him. I don't like that. Would have been nice to have him as a sidekick for the whole movie instead. But yeah, that's too bad. But Helena is apparently volunteering to decipher this thing. And meanwhile, she does a little dynamite stick trick between her and Indy, getting this match or something to light it with. She throws dynamite, it blows up, and they get off on the bad guy's boat that just happens to be unmanned outside. Like, there's no guard. They just left their boat tied to this boat, and yeah, they get away.
Right.
That was a little bit ridiculous too, but okay.
I didn't think about that, but yeah, you're right. They would have had.
There's usually some guards there. I guess this is a very small crew of bad guys.
It was, and they didn't know how many people were on the boat,
Yeah, it's just some old man, some old professor, 80 years old. Don't worry about it. Some feisty British girl and a little kid with a straw hat. So yeah, they sail off, and now this thing that they were deciphering is really in some sort of block of clay or something, and they melt it, set it on fire, melt it, and inside is this gold. That's wax. I'm sorry. Yes. It's something that melts. Yeah,
I just saw it last night, so yes.
Okay, yeah, clay doesn't melt, I don't think. It takes a whole lot more temperature. All right, yeah, so it's wax. And inside is this nice gold disc. And it's got all these other symbols and things on it to help them go find their dialy thing. But this disc itself is probably worth a ton of money. It's just keep it.
True. Well, she could sell it.
And she would. Because I think she's money hungry, and I don't know if she's quite the archaeologist that her dad or Indy's like her godfather or whatever he is, but I don't know.
She's
she
her
doesn't.
godfather, and she's not quite the archaeologist that her father was, because I think she's struggling more with how does she make money? So that's her thing.
Yeah, she wheels and deals in Tangiers.
She knows a lot about it. She's read every one of his journals, so says the movie.
Yeah.
And so the information, the knowledge is there, but the appreciation for it may not be, or the reverence, I guess.
Even like some of those other characters in the other movies, like Allison Duty, for example, like in Last Crusade, like she was actually an archaeologist, knew what the hell she was doing, even though she was secretly a Nazi. But yeah, she knew the stuff that Indy was going after, and she was helping him decipher stuff, and she seemed to be passionate about that, that field. But back to this, where's the next place they go? They have to go to Sicily. They got to go to Syracuse, not the Syracuse in New York, but there's a lot of Syracuses around. But they're going to Sicily. Syracuse is New York or Long Island or whatever. And if I'm wrong about all that, I'm going to cut that out too, because my geography is horrible. But it's
sorry.
But I think I know where Sicily is. Yeah, that's Italy. Okay. Teddy, the kid, is wandering around. He gets kidnapped by the bad guys because they're still around. Like they know how to find them everywhere they go. He gets kidnapped because he's wandering off, like kids do in these movies, to be imperiled.
So my kids were watching the movie partway through.
Oh yeah, what do they think of it? It's like,
at that point, the little one, the 7-year-old, said, "Well, that's what he get. You're not supposed to steal money and buy ice cream."
Ooh, look at the morals you've built into your daughter. You're a good mom. You're a good mommy. Yeah. But it's like, why are you watching this old man movie? We're the Jonas Brothers. I don't know, whatever they're into.
We tried to show them the first one. When this movie came out, we tried to show them the first Indiana Jones, because I wanted to enjoy this one at the theater with them.
Yeah. Yeah, prime them for it, right.
Yeah. But,
not so easy.
It's a bit inappropriate for the 7-year-old. But she's the one who ended up staying awake, watching the whole thing, the original.
Yeah.
And my 12-year-old, at one point got up and walked out. She was not,
All right. Well, hey, maybe there's hope. At least one of them will become a cinephile of these great movies from a different generation.
Yeah.
Because I don't see how, if I was the age now to see these now, they just wouldn't have the same effect. But, when we saw them, this was the best movies yet. All right, at least you try. I like that. That's a good thing about having kids, is you could help maybe see if they could experience the things that made you so happy as a kid. Because the things we got out there now, I don't think they wouldn't do it. It's a whole different...
That's really hard to tell. You're right. I mean, you just take it for granted that you're going to have, all these special effects. So the practical ones back then, you don't appreciate as much. You're not like, whoa, how did they do that? Like, but
Right.
actually, they still do wonder. They
Yeah.
still do. Well, how did they? And I'm like,
Let
I have
them
no idea how they
watch
did it.
some old like stop motion animation, and it takes so much hard work to do those things. And back then, it must have looked fantastic, like the original black and white King Kong. But yeah, I'll take Peter Jackson's. I mean, at least that was done properly. Like, that's the right way to do an upgrade of something with really dated special effects and
Right, for
give
sure.
it some heart and soul at the same time.
Yeah. The kids
Yes.
did, both of them independently walked in at different times, and they were like, why is he so old?
Is he supposed to be an action hero?
He was,
Yeah, right.
he was just young. Why
Yeah.
is he?
Oh, yeah. You're talking about they watched the CGI de-aged Indy.
Mhm.
All right. If they've watched all of Harrison Ford's movies, it's like, man, he looks old now, but he's still good.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, that's good for you. I appreciate that you're doing that and trying to ingrain some good taste in film.
Absolutely.
Daughters. Okay, so the kid gets handcuffed. They go through the caves. Now they're in Dionysus Cave, and they're trying to find the right way to start climbing up. And it's a lot of physical endeavor for an old guy. But Harrison Ford, I'm sure he could probably do all that stuff, just, not repeatedly. Like, don't do like 12 takes. If I make it to the top, we're printing it. But a little climbing around, a bunch of bugs crawling all over them. We have to revisit the creepy crawlies again, because every Indiana Jones has to have creepy crawlies in it.
Yep.
It's part of archaeology, there might be bugs on the things you're looking for. The kid gets handcuffed. There's this big dude there, but he ends up handcuffing the big dude after the bridge breaks and the other dude ends up drowning. There's this water slide and all these things that they go down. Of course, the bad guys follow after Indy and Helena figure everything out. The bad guys just come in after them, as usual. And then there's the other half of the dial at the tomb. There's Archimedes' tomb. And there's a watch on his wrist, the mummy or whatever inside there. Like, what's that watch doing in there? It's like a watch that does not belong in 2000 BC or wherever the hell it came from. It'd be like a little wooden sundial with a little strap, but not a Rolex or whatever the hell it was. So Mads shows up and there's a little shootout, and Indy takes a bullet in the shoulder, but he'll be okay. And then there's a little motorcycle chase to follow along, and Indy is finally confronting Voller there. He's like, what are you gonna do? Kill Churchill? Ike? Wants to assassinate somebody? No, he's gonna go to 1939 and kill Hitler so he could do it better. He could be a better Führer.
Yeah.
He already knows, about Hitler's downfall and Mein Kampf and all that stuff. Like, yeah, we're going to retcon all that. And maybe he could, make a much longer Nazi regime, or whatever it is. He just wants to out Hitler. That's his big bad guy scheme, right? Which is pretty evil, but, stupid at the same time. But all right, so he's in his uniform, and they bring Indy along just to gloat. You don't really need him, but you could just kill him. But
yeah, that is confusing. Why are you dragging somebody along with you?
Well, he's been your rival for the entire, movie, and even like 20 or 30 years before. Let's just bring him along so you could see for yourself. You want to gloat over your evil victory or whatever. That's the bad guys love to do that. They don't just kill you. That would be, too practical.
Although he is the brains. I mean, clearly. Yeah,
just in case they miscalculated something, which they really did, very badly, and he has to point it out to them.
Right. Or they booby-trapped something that they're not aware of.
Right, let's send him in first. We're just tap on the floor. Remember that Jehovah begins with an I or whatever it is. How do you correct that?
Jehovah?
Jehovah begins with an idiot. Yes, Sean Connery knew that.
Right.
I love that whole scene. That was also getting into spirituality. Like, is this stuff real? Is it holy? Mm-hmm. And you could actually stand on open space and walk across some invisible bridge that's only there if you believe in it. I'm not sure, but that was, I have to be a little bit spiritual and believe in some things. And Indiana Jones, there's only so many booby traps you could build. They have to be things that are maybe divine or supernatural. If you're going after the Holy Grail, maybe there's some, godlike booby traps that you can't explain with natural physics.
Well, there is a knight there who's been there forever.
Right, yeah. But he drinks from the real Grail, and that's how he stays alive.
That's it.
Then he just shuffles them around. Who's next? Step right up. Pick your Grail. If you're not a winner, you won't be able to play again. But nobody disintegrates in this movie, which sucks. I like when Indiana Jones, the bad guys disintegrate or they get burned by holy ghosts. Nothing such like that here, but it's still pretty cool. We're almost at the end, I think. They're in a plane, a very big plane, and they fly off. And of course, the kid, who just learned somehow what flying might be like, gets in another plane and follows along. Helena, she does a real Mission Impossible Tom Cruise kind of thing and just jumps on the landing gear. I'm like, is that something that you normally do while you're parading around on Fleabag every week? I don't understand how she does all this crap, but she's like a
would never have
massive
done that, obviously. But
stunt performing archaeologist, just like Indiana Jones. All of a sudden,
yeah,
she could do this stuff.
well, yeah. Maybe
Her,
she
yeah.
just doesn't have as much of a value to her life. I don't know.
Well, yeah, I mean, maybe she does a lot of CrossFit in her spare time. But she's like, all of a sudden, she's like Lara Croft now. She could just do all this crazy stunt. Yeah, okay, all right, I'm buying that. Her and the little kid who could fly a plane. So that annoyed me too. But all right, she has to be along for the ride too, just like Indy. So she stows away on the plane there. Indy, he's using his brain. He tells him, "You didn't account for continental drift." What's that? A Rolling Stones song? No, the fissures and all this stuff. You're off target for like 200 years. He's telling them, you're going to land in the wrong era. He's yelling at them, and the calculations, they're wrong. He starts getting a little bit of giddiness going on because the bad guys are so stupid. And it's on the final. You should have studied. So this pilot is asleep in the back of the plane that the kid is flying, like, hey, what's going on? And they go through the fissure. It's like some time warp thing in the clouds. It's weird, but it's a little bit science fiction-y, but it's cool. I like that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
If you had the Millennium Falcon flying through it, it sure would be a lot easier. But, Indy is just an uninvited guest on this trip. But they end up like some Roman ships are attacking Sicily, and people are shooting spears, and they're using catapults and big rocks.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, Indy knows all this stuff. Like, yeah, I know all this. This is like one of my subjects. It's like chapter 12.
And Kylie's sitting there, my 12-year-old. She's like, "Hey, this is the time that we're studying right now."
And this is like the best way.
Cool. Yes.
The best way to reinforce your learning. I mean, if we could watch Indiana Jones movies instead of getting lectures, it would be a lot more fun to go to school.
Unfortunately, we didn't learn too much about the time.
Nah, it's true.
But she at least recognized it. She could pinpoint. She was like, "Wow, they look like they're going back like 3,000 years." Oh, 2,000. Okay.
I know, she might have it exactly
She's 1,000
right.
years off, but at least, recognized.
Well, I couldn't remember, so I wrote it down. It was like 214 BC. But it's good. There's history. Somebody wrote something down back then on some kind of tablet or used some parchment or some sap or dye from the tree, whatever they used, some pigment that they discovered. Oh, they just carved it. But yeah, the soldiers are worrying about taking down the dragons that are attacking them because these planes are flying around. They're not really like breathing fire, although some of them are on fire. I think because the big Nazi plane there is sort of like disabled or there's some chaos going on.
They got a spear through one of the engines, so it was smoking and kind of on fire. And
well, they made some pretty good spears back then.
Yeah, they were major. Yeah.
Puncture our armor and stuff. Yeah, pretty good.
Yep.
Helena helps out a little bit, gets a parachute on, helps Indy get off, and shoots Mads. And they get out and they're falling. They're like, wait a minute, you didn't give me a chance. I wanted to tell them, get off my plane. It's not your plane, Indy. Crap. Not this time anyway. So I think Mads, he probably dies in the crash. I think all the bad guys pretty much get shot, speared, fall into the ocean, die, whatever. They manage to land in a parachute, but somebody's coming probably to kill them too, because these are like the dragon riders or whatever it is, witchcraft or whatever they think this is, these people from the future. And only Archimedes, who's there working on his dial, actually has any inkling that, hey, maybe my thing works because these people are coming from the future. And I think he gets his watch from
Mads.
Yeah, he takes it off Mads' wrist there because, okay, full circle, and explains he must really like that watch because he died with it. Mm-hmm. Indiana Jones meets Archimedes, and I don't know if they speak a little bit of the same language he's trying to explain, and Phoebe Waller-Bridge is like trying to pantomime or...
No, she knows the language.
A little bit, right? I mean, well, nobody kills them.
They're both communicating with him.
Okay, well, I mean, she's trying to convince Indy to come back. He's like, nah,
right.
I think I'll stay, I know this place. I could roll with this. He's like wounded. You think maybe he'll die here? Like, that's not cool. We don't want Indiana Jones to die. But if he dies in the past, that's like, wow, it's where he belongs, right? Right. But no, he has other things to do.
Belong in a museum.
Right, he does, but there won't be anything left of him. But she punches him out, and somehow they drag him back. They don't show this part, but they get him back in the plane and back through the fissure, because I guess the kid knows how to fly backwards, forward, through time, too. I don't know. If you're flying through time, have you done that before? That's all right. You'll get it.
You just have to fly through the hole in the ceiling, the wall.
As long as it's still there, yeah. If you got the right,
cloud.
if you could actually see it up there, yeah. It's like just go through that cloud that looks like a funnel. Just go through there. Right. Everything will be fine. A little continental drift notwithstanding. You should end up exactly where you came from.
That's right. It's the same opening, so it's going exactly back.
Right. I mean, I don't know. Maybe it moves. I don't know anything about these wormholes. And watch Star Trek. The wormholes. Sometimes one end is not stable.
Yeah.
You should remember these things. All right, but it's okay. I don't think Indiana, he doesn't know anything about wormholes or snake holes or anything like that. Just go back to the present. He's in his apartment there. Nobody's playing the loud music this day, but the last scene's really sweet. Everybody shows up. Sala is there, and when he leaves with the kids, he's singing his I am the monarch of the sea. The call back to his favorite songs. When Marion comes in, and there's this really kind of sappy scene, like, everything hurts. Where doesn't it hurt? They're referencing like
It's not sappy.
a little. I got a little teary-eyed when I watched it in the
That
theater.
doesn't mean it's sappy. It means it's moving.
It was moving. All right, well, it's moving / sappy, but I'm a sap, so. The music always helps. Every time John Williams puts those melodies in there, it's like I can't not feel something. So it was cute. At the end, like the hat is out on the clothesline, and they just snatch it inside right before the camera just closes into the black circle, and the movie's over. They get back together. It's pretty nice. I enjoyed that. But we could use a little bit more Marion. I mean, she was in a lot of the last movie. And not too effective in that. It was just more silly, goofy things going on, and letting Indy know, yeah, this is your son. Oh, okay. And now they have to deal with the loss of the son and not being together for almost the entire movie. But at least they got back together at the end. It was nice. I guess she just couldn't go along for the whole adventure.
No.
But they were great in Raiders of the Lost Ark. That was a great pairing, and that's everything worked. The chemistry was good. The script was great, and she was funny.
She was still great at the end, so we see them getting back together at the end.
It's good. So
Trying
overall,
to avoid
that's
saying the happy ending.
Well, the happy, yeah. Well, we really think that's it. But I mean, they got married at the end of the last one. That was happy, but there was like that one loose end. Like, what's this son gonna do? Is he gonna try to start off a new franchise? Because I'm not having it. And that was 15 years, I think, between that and this movie. So it took a long time to have a new director and everything, but yeah, it turned out fine. I did like it. Again, it's really long. They could trim a little bit out of it, but very enjoyable. It still fits into the series pretty well. I'm just glad we had one more Indiana Jones movie before we call it a day.
Yeah.
Well, any more Harrison Ford footnotes here?
No. Here's the thing about Harrison Ford. He's always reminded me of my dad. And even my dad, he loved Harrison Ford. He loved Indiana Jones. My dad is an anthropologist. And he especially liked that Harrison Ford, kind of didn't really take himself too seriously. He wasn't a pretty boy. He called himself Old Potato Face. I mean, my dad loved all that stuff. And I will just say this, it's just a little nod to my dad who loved him. And
you all right?
Yeah.
Well, that's a great dad with good taste. So what, is Harrison Ford evoking him a lot now whenever you watch him?
Yeah.
It's not a bad thing. Well, cheers. We will dedicate this episode to your dad.
Thank you.
Well, my dad liked Harrison Ford and Indiana Jones a lot. I'm sorry, he didn't remind me of him, but it doesn't mean there's anything really wrong with my dad. Just like I watched all these movies with him. I think I recall going to see them probably multiple times in the same day because you just
yeah, you sit
I wouldn't leave the theater. I would just like, shit, let's watch that again. And my dad, would always stay and watch these movies the second time with me. Like I wouldn't let him. We can't go home after we watch any of these indies or Terminator or Star Trek 3. I think I'm like, no, we're staying and watching it again. And
That's like my mom. My mom and I would sit in the movie theater and watch them a second time.
Yeah, well, because we didn't have them at home. You're not going to be able to stream it next week. Right. This was like when VHS tapes would maybe come out a year later. And if you wanted to buy it, it was like $75 for a tape. Like, nah, let's just sit in this theater as long as possible until they close. We have food, we have shelter, we have bathrooms.
Yeah. And they're comfy seats.
Yeah, well, they weren't even that good back then. They were like those hard, small seats. And now you got the recliners and everything with the cup holders. Yeah, we're spoiled now. They do make you pay for it, though.
My dad and Harrison Ford were born 2 months apart.
Oh, same year, even.
Yeah, same year.
Okay, wow, that's good. 2 months. I was going to say 2 days. We're like so close. Right?
No, I'll send you a picture.
Yeah. There's like a physical resemblance too.
Yeah, sort of.
Wow. Okay, yeah, I would be. Yeah, the only person who could not appreciate having Harrison Ford for a dad is that damn Kylo Ren. I'm still, I still can't forgive him for that bastard.
No, me neither.
Don't you know how good you got? You got the coolest dad. you freaking waste him with your stupid T-bone lightsaber. Anywho, so any more Ford stuff you love? Did you see? I hope you saw Blade Runner 2049. Right?
Yeah, that was great. It was a good remake, I guess.
Well, it was a continuation, but Blade Runner you could almost do anything, and that was a really very creative and imaginative script and great. I'm glad he did that, even though he shows up really late in the movie. It's like, finally, it's like, what's he gonna do? I mean, he basically just punches out, Ryan Gosling and, almost drowns. But yeah, I'm just very happy. It had a good story and it ended really well. He's still doing stuff. He's still with Callista Flockhart, which is nice. I was wondering, you were involved with your Ally McBeal shoots before she and Harrison Ford ever even met.
No, we heard that yes, that happened. I think they met in 2002 at the very end at the Golden Globes. So, we were still working on Ally McBeal when she met him. And we heard on set that she had met Harrison Ford and they've been talking. And I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, and you should have just been best pals with Callista there. And
I know.
We could probably get Harrison Ford on this damn episode.
Right. If I had been a little bit better.
I mean, I'm perfectly happy with you. I'm just saying, having him on here would maybe up my popularity just a tiny notch. But
a tiny notch.
And I would probably so tongue-tied I wouldn't even be able to get a sentence out. I'm like, but what was it like with snakes? I'm sorry, man. This is awesome. You
would have had to do Harrison Ford to Harrison Ford.
I would have to out-grump him and see if it would work. Yeah, he must hate that. I'm just same way. I'm sure everyone goes up to Christopher Walken like, I can do an impression of you. When I met Gilbert Gottfried and I was like so stupidly going, I can do you too, and like he's like nodding his head like, yeah, that's really, really funny. I get that. I never get that. Yeah, you don't want to do impressions for people who probably are sick of it, but not that many people do Harrison Ford impressions because
no, they don't. But Mark Hamill does spot on.
Mark Hamill is great with the voices. I would love to challenge him to a voice off, but he worked with Harrison Ford. He's heard he wasn't even that grumbly back then. He just like he knows how he is now, and he wasn't grumbly at all in his older movies. He was just sort of cocky like this, but now he would just grumble everything to you.
Right.
Yeah. If you really want to do a podcast with me, you got to say something intelligent. I'll try, Harrison. Well, thanks for doing this. This is awesome. I mean, we didn't get cut off at 40 minutes, which is just too much to say, too much to talk about, and I hope there's always more to come, and maybe not this film series, but other stuff. And I'm glad you're letting your daughters discover the magic of these awesome movies and famous actors. I mean, just keep that in the loop. I know there's new stuff coming along, and we got to stay with the times. But there's more to music than Taylor Swift. I hope they know that. Oh,
they play the 80s game in the car. How long does it take him to name that tune?
Oh, all right. If they can name anything from the 80s, that's a good sign.
Yeah, they're really good at it.
I'll switch my video back on and sign off politely from my luxurious studio. But I like your ukulele. It looks like you're in a sauna with ukuleles.
It does. It does. That would really look good.
Everything's like wood paneled.
Yes.
Does anybody play those, or are those just for display?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Nick plays them. He knows them. I know a little bit. Not as much as I should, but
one of these days I got to get back over to the coast there and say hi as well.
Yes.
Whatever the plans will allow.
Have a place to stay.
Oh, thank you.
And Jennifer.
And we can ukulele jam too.
There you go.
That'd be sweet. All right. I'll let you get back to whatever you got to do then and prepare for the holidays. It's as we're recording, it's just about a week away from Christmas. But by the time all of you hear this, happy Valentine's Day, everyone. But whatever.
Valentine's Day. That's
by the time I get this edited, but I'm trying to predict when this is going to drop.
Projecting.
Yeah, because this is a good one. So thanks again. Thanks for being on. And
hey, my pleasure.
Oh, so great to see you again. I wish you and the family the best holiday.
Thank you. You
I'll
too.
I'll talk to you, and I'll let you know when this is ready, probably in the new year.
Okay.
See you in the past, Dr. Jones. When your movies were better. Eat me. You know I played Hannibal, don't you? Huh?
Okay, and now here's a little surprise bonus anecdote about my dad, related to this whole series. Once upon a time, some years back, I don't remember, maybe 90s, around 2000, I got my dad a birthday card. And it was one of those cards that when you open it up, it has this little gadget inside that plays music. So you open it, and it goes, da, 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 da. Obviously it was an Indiana Jones card. So another cool thing about it is you also get to record a short audio message in the card. So it plays that too. So yeah, that was a great idea. And I recorded a message, and me being the clever kid that I was, came up with something really interesting that ties into the whole Indiana Jones theme. So you open the card, and it says, Dad, how did you know this card wasn't booby-trapped? Etc., etc. Great, right? Awesome. So he's going to love this, right? So, I sealed it up and it's posted John, sent it in the mail. He gets the card. But I don't hear any raving reviews or, ecstatic compliments about how amazing my recording and the message was. So, and it turns out the damn card arrived broken. It didn't work. Didn't make a sound. Like the card got laryngitis or something. Postman dropped it. I don't know. So anyway, Dad never actually heard the message. I told him about it, but I guess you had to be there. The moment had already passed. So at least maybe now, if he's able to listen to Missing Reel, wherever he may be this day, you got to hear that indie message just one more time. So that's for you. And thanks again for all the adventures in cinema and everything else. And listeners, thank you too for listening and making me feel like I don't just do these to amuse myself. I'm glad I could bring some joy and chuckles to other people around the world. So thank you very much for your listenership. And keep on listening because there's more to come. Laugh it up, fuzzball. Okay, bye.